Have you ever wondered why, no matter how tired you are, you still wake up once, twice, sometimes even 3 times a night just to go to the bathroom? You look at the clock, 1:47 a.m. again, and you know what's coming. That slow walk in the dark, the cold floor, the broken sleep. And when you finally get back to bed, your mind refuses to shut off. You lie there, staring at the ceiling, thinking, why can't I just sleep through the night like I used to? Most men over 60 believe this is just part of aging. They think it's normal, something you must accept, like gray hair or slower mornings. But I'll tell you right now, it's not. Waking up multiple times at night to urinate isn't a sign of getting older, it's a sign that your body's hydration rhythm, yes, your internal water clock, is completely off balance. And the shocking part? It's caused not by how much water you drink, but when and how you drink it. Today, I'm going to show you something that 97% of men do wrong every single day. Something so simple, so automatic, that most never even question it. You see, every man knows that water is essential. We're told to stay hydrated for energy, for heart health, for digestion. But no one ever tells you this. If you drink it the wrong way, it silently trains your bladder to wake you up. Imagine this. Your bladder isn't just a tank. It's a messenger. It communicates with your brain through tiny nerve fibers that send signals based on pressure and timing. But if your water intake is poorly timed, especially in the second half of your day, those signals go haywire. The result? Your brain starts expecting those midnight bathroom trips, like a bad habit it can't unlearn. Here's the strange part, and you'll probably relate to this. You wake up around the same time every night, almost as if your body sets an alarm 1:47, 3:12, 4:05. It's not random, it's learned. Your bladder has become conditioned, like Pavlov's dog. And the more often you get up, the stronger the pattern becomes. But here's what most men don't realize. When you constantly interrupt your deep sleep cycle, especially stages 3 and 4, your body fails to release enough melatonin and testosterone. These two hormones are like your night mechanics. They repair cells, regulate blood pressure, restore your prostate, and help maintain normal circulation. So yes, that midnight trip to the bathroom might seem harmless, but it's quietly robbing you of your strength, your energy, and your vitality. And the longer this goes on, the harder it becomes for your body to heal naturally. I've treated hundreds of patients who came to me saying, Doctor, I don't sleep well anymore. I get up 3 or 4 times every night. I'm always tired. I thought it was just age. And do you know what they all had in common? Every single one of them was drinking water the wrong way. Not too much water, not too little. Just at the wrong time and in the wrong pattern. It sounds almost ridiculous. That something as simple as water could be the reason you're exhausted, that your bladder feels weak, that your nights are constantly interrupted. But once I showed them the right timing, everything changed. In less than a week, they were sleeping through the night again. One of my patients, I'll call him Robert, was 68 years old. He told me, Dr. Jane, I stopped drinking water after 6 p.m. like people say, but I still wake up every night. It doesn't make sense. I asked him one simple question. When do you drink most of your water during the day? He said, usually after lunch. I get busy in the morning. Then I try to catch up in the afternoon. And right there was the problem. See, most men don't realize that your kidneys don't care what time it is. When you load them with fluid late in the day, they keep working long after you fall asleep. That means your bladder feels while your brain tries to rest. And the moment it reaches a certain pressure, it sends an emergency signal. Wake up now. The truth is, the best way to stop waking up at night to pee isn't to drink less. It's to drink smarter. Because when you drink water in sync with your body's circadian rhythm, something incredible happens. Your kidneys slow down at night naturally, your bladder stays calm, and your body stays hydrated without disturbing your sleep. Now here's what almost no one tells you, and this is where the trick begins. It's not just about when you drink, but how you drink. If you gulp water too fast, your kidneys interpret it as a flood. They panic, trying to eliminate the excess right away. But if you sip gradually in small amounts spread throughout the day, your body uses that water for restoration, not elimination. In other words, Fast drinking trains your bladder to be overactive, while slow drinking trains your body to hold and distribute water properly. It's one of those small things that have a huge impact on how you feel, how you sleep, and even how your hormones work. And here's where it gets fascinating. When I explain this to my patients, most look at me with disbelief. They say, "You mean I can stop waking up at night just by changing how I drink water?" And my answer is always, yes, if you do it correctly. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the exact timing and pattern that allow your body to stay hydrated all day while keeping your bladder quiet all night. This isn't a theory, it's something I've tested for years in clinical practice with men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s. And once you understand this rhythm, you'll realize how easily you can reset your bladder's night schedule. But before I show you the actual technique, you need to understand why drinking too little in the evening can backfire just as much as drinking too much. Because if you do this wrong, you might actually make your bladder more sensitive instead of calmer. I'll explain exactly why in a second. And once you see it, you'll never drink water the same way again. Most men think avoiding water after 6 p.m. is the key, but that's the mistake that keeps your bladder overactive. In the next part, I'll show you the one small change that instantly retrains your body, and it starts just 90 minutes before bed. Here's something that will surprise you. Drinking less water in the evening doesn't fix the problem. It can actually make it worse. I know that sounds strange, but let me explain. When you deprive your body of fluids too early in the evening, your brain senses mild dehydration. And what does it do? It signals your kidneys to hold onto sodium to prevent water loss. That means your blood becomes slightly thicker, your heart works harder, and your kidneys become more active at night. The exact opposite of what you want. So even though you drank less, your body still produces urine overnight because it's trying to restore balance. This is why so many men tell me, "Doctor, I stopped drinking water after dinner, but I still wake up." Yes, because your body isn't stupid, it's protective. When it senses imbalance, it overcompensates. And that creates the very problem you're trying to avoid. Now, before I tell you the trick, I want you to imagine your body like a factory. During the day, production is high. You eat, move, think, digest, sweat. At night, the factory closes for repairs, but only if the machines can stay quiet. If you overload it late in the day, those machines, your kidneys, bladder, and heart, keep running overtime. That's why you wake up exhausted instead of restored. And this is where the water drinking trick begins. What if I told you that you could train your body to do something completely different, to redirect that nightly activity toward healing instead of flushing? That's exactly what I'm about to show you. The first step happens not at night, but in the morning. Most people reach for coffee as soon as they wake up, but here's the truth. After 7 to 8 hours without water, your body wakes up mildly dehydrated. Caffeine on an empty stomach only worsens that. So instead of starting your day with a stimulant, you need to start with hydration rhythm correction. Within the first 10 minutes of waking up, drink a full glass of water, around 250 milliliters, slowly, not in one gulp. Let it travel through your system while you move around, stretch, or prepare breakfast. This tells your brain the day has begun. Kidneys, time to work now, not later. This single habit shifts your kidney cycle forward by hours, meaning your body starts processing fluids earlier in the day instead of late at night. By noon, you should have consumed about half of your daily water intake. If you weigh around 70 kilograms, that's roughly 1 to 1.2 liters by lunchtime. Spacing it out is key. A few sips every 15 to 20 minutes. This slow rhythm keeps your kidneys active during daylight, allowing them to naturally taper off by bedtime. You're teaching your organs when to work and when to rest. Now, around mid-afternoon, say 3 or 4 p.m., that's your transition zone. Your body begins to reduce cortisol levels and prepare for rest. Here, you drink another 300 to 400 milliliters, but this time, add a small pinch of unrefined sea salt or electrolytes. Why? Because that little bit of sodium helps your body hold water inside the cells instead of sending it straight to your bladder. Think of it like a sponge. Without salt, the water flows right through. With the right balance, the sponge retains moisture. The same happens in your tissues. By doing this, your hydration becomes cellular, not superficial. It's not about how much water passes through you, it's about how much stays where it matters. Then, 90 minutes before bed, and this is the part 97% don't know, you drink just 150 milliliters of warm water with a few drops of lemon or honey. It seems tiny, but this tells your body, the day is over, no more flooding, just calm. This gentle signal helps the vagus nerve, the main nerve that connects your brain and organs, enter a rest and digest mode. It slows down your heart rate, reduces kidney activity, and lets your bladder expand slightly without overreacting. One of my patients, Harold, a 72-year-old retired engineer, had been waking up every 2 hours for nearly a decade. He told me, "Doctor, I tried everything. Medications, herbal teas, even stopped drinking water completely after 5 p.m. Nothing worked." When I taught him this method, he looked skeptical, but within 4 days, he slept for 6 hours straight for the first time in years. When he came back for a follow-up, he said, "It's like my body finally learned how to rest again." That's exactly what this technique does. It resets the communication between your brain, bladder, and kidneys. Here's how it works scientifically. At night, your pituitary gland releases an antidiuretic hormone called vasopressin. This hormone signals your kidneys to slow urine production while you sleep. But in men who stay dehydrated through the day and overhydrate in the evening, vasopressin becomes erratic. Your body never gets the message to pause. Once you reset hydration timing, your vasopressin rhythm normalizes. Your kidneys stop overproducing at night, and your bladder stops sending false alarms. That's the trick 97% don't know. It's not about avoiding water, and it's not about forcing your bladder to adapt. It's about teaching your brain when to relax. Now, as you listen to this, you might be wondering, "Doctor, what if I already have an enlarged prostate? Will this still work for me?" Yes, and here's why. Even when the prostate causes pressure on the bladder, the brain-bladder connection remains trainable. When your hydration rhythm is steady, inflammation markers like IL-6 and CRP go down. That means less pressure, fewer spasms, and fewer signals to wake you up. In other words, you're not only improving sleep, you're improving the very foundation of your urinary health. This is the first time many men realize that hydration is hormonal. The timing of water intake affects your melatonin, vasopressin, and testosterone cycles, all of which influence your energy, libido, and recovery. So, yes, something as simple as a glass of water can change the way you age. I've seen it happen hundreds of times. When men fix their hydration rhythm, they start reporting not just better sleep, but clearer mornings, better focus, and even improved stamina during the day. Because sleep isn't just rest, it's hormone regeneration. And you can't regenerate if your body is stuck in an emergency loop all night long. So let's recap this second step together, because it's important you do it right. 1. Start your hydration early, first 10 minutes after waking up. 2. Drink gradually, not in bursts. 3. Add electrolytes mid-afternoon to lock in hydration. 4. Small warm drink 90 minutes before bed to calm your bladder reflex. These 4 steps alone can cut nighttime urination frequency by half in just a few days. But the real magic happens when you combine them with what I'll show you next. A simple body positioning technique that uses gravity itself to support your bladder during sleep. It's something you can start tonight, takes less than 30 seconds, and no one talks about it. In the next part, I'll reveal how a simple change in your sleeping posture, something you can do right now in your own bed, can literally retrain your bladder overnight. It sounds impossible, but once you try it, you'll understand why 97% of men never hear this from their doctor. Before we go into the final part of this method, let me ask you something simple. When you go to bed at night, how do you usually sleep? On your back? On your side? Or maybe half sitting with a pillow behind you? Most men don't think twice about it. But after helping thousands of older men restore their sleep and stop waking up to use the bathroom, I've learned something astonishing. The position of your body determines how your bladder behaves at night. You see, your bladder is like a balloon sitting just behind your pubic bone, supported by muscles and surrounded by small blood vessels. When you lie flat on your back, gravity pushes the fluid inside your body downward toward that balloon. This adds extra pressure, especially if you've had even a moderate amount of liquid in the evening. So your bladder starts sending false alarms, messages to your brain saying it's time to wake up, even when it isn't full yet. Now here's the counterintuitive part, something that sounds small but makes a massive difference. If you slightly change your sleeping angle, you can use gravity to your advantage. Instead of forcing fluid to collect near the bladder, you can gently redirect it towards circulation and lymphatic flow. Let me explain how. Take a regular pillow, or if you have one, a small wedge pillow. Place it just under your knees, not under your head, not under your back. This lifts your legs just enough to shift pelvic pressure upward by a few degrees. It's subtle, but this small incline helps prevent the pooling of blood and fluid in your lower abdomen. In my patients, this simple trick reduced nighttime urination by 40% within 1 week. When you sleep with your knees slightly elevated, your bladder and prostate get a break. There's less compression, less vascular congestion, and better lymph drainage. Your body finally learns to hold rather than signal. But there's another version of this technique, especially useful if you're a side sleeper. If you sleep on your side, particularly your left side, you help your kidneys drain naturally. This position improves the passage of fluids through your ureters, the small tubes that connect the kidneys to the bladder, and reduces internal pressure on the right kidney. It's the same principle doctors recommend for pregnant women to protect circulation, but it works for men too. And here's why this matters so much after 60. As we age, our blood vessels stiffen slightly and our lymphatic system becomes less efficient. That means fluid tends to accumulate more easily around the ankles, legs, and yes, in the lower pelvis. If you've ever noticed your feet feeling swollen in the evening, that's your first clue. When you lie flat at night, all that trapped fluid redistributes, and part of it ends up passing through the kidneys. That's why many older men feel that urgent pressure 2 or 3 hours after falling asleep. By changing your sleeping position, you interrupt that cycle before it begins. You're not treating a symptom, you're reprogramming your body's fluid dynamics. I remember one of my patients, Mr. Jensen, a retired teacher in his 70s. He told me, "Dr. Jane, I followed the water trick you taught me. I'm better, but I still wake up once every night." So I asked him to try the pillow adjustment. Just for a week, he came back smiling, saying, "It's strange. I didn't think a pillow under my knees could change anything, but now I sleep through the night." The science behind it is simple yet powerful. When your pelvis is slightly tilted, the detrusor muscle, that's the muscle around your bladder, stays relaxed longer. It doesn't send signals to the brain until it's truly necessary. Meanwhile, blood and lymph flow improve, reducing the sensation of urgency. And remember, your brain and bladder are in constant communication. Every night you wake up unnecessarily, that connection becomes more sensitive. But when you start sleeping longer without interruptions, your brain slowly forgets the bad habit. After a week or two, it stops expecting those 3 a.m. wake-ups, just like breaking any other learned pattern. Now, combine this positioning with the hydration rhythm we talked about earlier, and you'll experience something remarkable. Your nights will stretch longer, your mornings will feel clearer, and your body will start to repair itself during deep sleep again, because deep sleep is when testosterone rises, your heart rate slows, your cells regenerate, and your prostate calms down. But I know what you might be thinking. "Doctor, I've tried so many things before. Will this really work for me?" I understand that skepticism. Many men come to me after years of frustration, countless supplements, and sleepless nights. But this technique works because it doesn't fight your biology. It cooperates with it. It's not about suppression, it's about synchronization. Think about it this way. Your body is like an orchestra. Each organ, your heart, kidneys, bladder, brain, plays its own part. When they're out of rhythm, the sound is chaotic. You feel tired, anxious, and weak. But when you bring them back into harmony, everything works quietly and efficiently. The water drinking trick and the sleeping position fix are like the conductor's baton, restoring balance to the performance. And if you apply this correctly, you'll notice not just fewer bathroom trips, but also deeper dreams, better energy, and even improved circulation to your legs and lower back. Because when your blood flow improves at night, your whole system benefits. In fact, I often tell my patients this: you don't age because your organs fail, you age because they fall out of sync. And that's exactly what this method corrects: synchronization. Now, as simple as this sounds, there's a final piece to the puzzle that ties everything together, something that completes the reset cycle. You see, water timing and body posture control the physical aspect. But there's a third component most doctors ignore: the neurological reset that happens through breathing and pressure regulation before sleep. This small 1-minute nightly ritual can amplify everything we've discussed. It teaches your nervous system to stand down, relax your bladder reflex, and prepare your body for uninterrupted deep sleep. And the best part? You don't need equipment, pills, or effort. You can do it lying right there in bed in less than 60 seconds. In the next part, I'll show you a 1-minute routine, a simple breathing and relaxation technique that tells your brain, tonight, no alarms, no interruptions. It's what truly completes the trick that 97% of people still don't know. Now that you understand the timing of water and the power of sleeping position, there is one final step that ties everything together. This last step is what teaches your nervous system to stay calm through the night. It takes less than a minute, requires no equipment, and yet it sends a powerful message to your bladder. Tonight, we rest. I want you to remember something. Every time you wake up at night to use the bathroom, your body doesn't simply get up and go back to sleep. It activates internal alarms. Your heart rate rises, your cortisol spikes, your brain shifts out of deep sleep and into alertness. Even if you fall asleep again, that interruption steals the essential repair your body needs. That is why so many men wake up tired, foggy, or heavy-headed, even after 8 hours in bed. The 1-minute method I'm about to show you calms those alarms before they ever start. It doesn't force your bladder to hold more. Instead, it resets the communication pattern between your brain and your pelvic nerves, lowering the sensitivity of those signals. That's the piece most doctors miss. The problem isn't always how full your bladder is. It's how sensitive the signaling system has become over the years. Here is how to do this reset. When you lie down to sleep, whether you're on your side or with your knees slightly elevated, place one hand gently over your lower abdomen and the other on your chest. Don't press. Just rest your hands there. Now inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, but allow the air to expand your lower belly before your chest. If your chest lifts first, your nervous system stays in a mild state of vigilance. But when your belly expands first, your brain interprets that as a physiological sign of safety. That's exactly what we want. Hold the breath lightly for 2 seconds, and then exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 to 7 seconds. Let the air leave gently. Imagine your lower abdomen softening under your hand during the exhale. Repeat this 6 times, 6 breaths. That is all it takes. When done correctly, your heart rate lowers, your vagus nerve activates, your bladder relaxes, and your brain receives a message stronger than any supplement could provide. It is safe to sleep deeply. One of my patients, a 75-year-old former mechanic named Daniel, once told me, "Doctor, for the first time in decades, my body didn't fight me at night." That's the impact this technique has. It removes the internal tension many men never realize they carry. You'll feel your body settle, almost like sinking into the mattress. That's your nervous system shifting from alertness to restoration. And before we continue, take a moment to reflect on something. As you've been listening to this, think about your own nights. How many times do you actually wake up? Once? Twice? More? Don't answer yet. Just keep that number in mind. Later, I'll explain why that number matters more than you think. Once you combine everything we've discussed, the hydration rhythm, the correct sleeping position, and this 1-minute reset, your nights begin to transform. And when your nights transform, so does the way your body ages. Deep sleep is when your hormones repair, your cells regenerate, and your inflammation decreases. That means better morning energy, improved circulation, more stable mood, clearer thinking, and even more comfort throughout the day. None of this is magic. It's what happens naturally when your sleep becomes uninterrupted again. Aging is not caused by your organs failing. Aging accelerates when your systems lose coordination. When your hydration is off rhythm, when your bladder sends false alarms, when your nervous system stays tense, your body struggles. But when you restore rhythm, something remarkable happens. Your body begins to behave like itself again, the way nature intended. You may think this sounds too simple to make such a difference, but the truth is that your body has been waiting for coherence. The water trick teaches your kidneys when to work, the sleeping position reduces pressure on the bladder, and the 1-minute breathing method resets the nervous system. Together, they create what I call the quiet bladder cycle, a state in which your body no longer misinterprets minor sensations as emergencies. Imagine this: you go to bed tonight, you follow the hydration pattern you learned, you lie down with your knees gently elevated, you place your hands as I described, you breathe through your belly, and for the first time in a long time, you drift into sleep without your body preparing for interruption. Hours pass, you open your eyes in the morning, and the clock shows a time you haven't seen in years. You feel clear, rested, almost surprised. That's the transformation this method brings. This is not about restricting water or forcing your bladder to stretch. It is about giving your body the conditions it needs to return to its natural rhythm. Your bladder wants to be quiet at night. Your kidneys want to slow down. Your brain wants to rest. You just need to guide them back into sync. Now, before we end, I want to ask you for something important. Earlier in the video, I asked you to think about how many times you wake up at night. Now I want you to share that number with me. Write in the comments, I wake up times per night. Just fill in the blank. Your response helps me understand what men your age are truly experiencing, so I can create videos that genuinely help you, not guesses. And if what I shared with you today made sense, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. I post new science-based guidance every week for men over 60 who want better sleep, better energy, and a stronger, more confident life. You don't want to miss the next videos, especially the ones I'm preparing about hydration mistakes, prostate pressure, and nighttime bladder training. If you're ready to take your nights back, subscribe now. This is how you stop waking up to pee. This is the trick 97% don't know, and this is how you take your nights and your life back.